Yeah, that's great. How you doing, Rozalla?
I'm okay, Daniel. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Getting
Nice.
through.
Long time no see.
Yeah, how's it going? How's it been?
Okay.
How's it been in
Okay.
the COVID? It's hard for everyone, isn't it?
Woo, I tell you. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like hopefully there's some sort of hope in the near future with
Yeah.
what they're talking
Light at the end of
about.
the tunnel. I
Yeah.
mean, more positive news is coming out than not, So
Yeah, hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully, because
Yeah.
we
Fingers
all need
crossed.
to get back
Fingers
to
crossed.
being out and doing what we do.
Exactly. Gosh. I remember the last gig I did with you, Daniel, was that pub. Remember?
Pub,
I just
yeah,
came back.
you come and yeah.
A couple
Yeah,
tracks. It was so cool. Where was that? Like in Bethnal Green or?
That was in Camden.
Camden.
Yeah.
Camden. Yeah.
They loved that. I think I've still got a video somewhere. I think
Hell
there's a few people that recorded it, but yeah, no, that was a great night. They loved it.
It was so cool. I mean, they didn't expect me to come there, and it was so lovely.
Yeah. We had the first part before you. We had Baby D do a live PA there, and people could not believe that because they'd never done anything in that pub before. It was only I sort of started helping, and there were people taking pictures. They couldn't believe it. They were taking pictures because the pub had never done anything of any sort like that. So
do you have plans to do anything of the sort in the new year? God willing, when things we're able to.
Yeah, definitely. What I want to do, Rozalla, is I want to start putting maybe something, a bit of food there. So there's some food and some sort of live PAs, some even comedians, and just sort of have a maybe a day like a brunch thing, I suppose. They're
nice one.
But yeah, I definitely would like you to come down and definitely do a PA.
Oh, definitely. I'll be up for that for sure.
Yeah, it always goes down well. I was watching. Me and my friend were looking over. We were watching you at the O2. Remember when you played at Proud 2 for us?
Oh yes.
We were watching the performance. We had it. Well, not watching it. We were listening to it. And but yeah, that was a good night. You and you performed.
That was indeed. Yeah. Well, we need more gigs from you in the near future when everything's okay and going, Daniel, because we need to be lifted up from this depression we've all been through this 2020. Woo!
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully 2021 is going to be a good year for us all. Definitely.
Gotta be positive.
Have you met Jay? Can you see Jamie, Rozalla?
No, I can't. It's just you and I.
I think it's because he hasn't talked yet. But Jamie we DJ together. Okay. And he's going to be on the show, so I thought it'd be good for him to come in. So, Jay, do you want to say hello to Rozalla?
Yeah. Hello, Rozalla. How you doing? I was waiting for the introduction. I was just you two were going. I was thinking, actually, there's no point in me being here. You two are just going to go away with it.
No, it's nice. It's nice to see you. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. You look very well. You look like you kept yourself really well, bless you.
Oh, darling, thank you so much. I've been doing face yoga.
I need to do a little bit of face yoga. I need to get rid of the double chin.
I'm telling you, everyone needs to do face yoga. It's lifted. Well, I don't know, but the fact that you say I look well, maybe the face yoga is lifting up my face.
Yeah, yoga's good. I think yoga's good for a lot of things. I think
it's good for the mind. Believe me, it's good. Yeah.
It's been a challenging time, Rozalla. I work in a school. I'm a teacher, so I working with children, and obviously one of the biggest the problems we've had is that children have kind of lost their routine, and they've been out of education for like 3-4 months, and we found that's been quite a challenge to get the children back into some type of routine.
Yeah.
And Dan, on the other hand, Dan's a teacher's worst nightmare because Dan's like totally COVID strict. So Dan's like, no, not sending my children in at the moment. No way, it's safe.
Yeah.
So me and Dan have like discussions all day long about I'm saying, Dan, it's safe. We've got all these bubbles, we've got all these restrictions in place. And Dan's like, no, I'm not having it. Still not convinced.
You know what my thing's been is they changed the goalposts. There's been no full direction. It's gone from one thing and then they've changed it to another thing, and then they say this and then they say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, one sec. Like, why should we change the goalposts? Why is it just not one thing and that's it? We follow, and I think that's been a lot of people's problem in this pandemic, is that, especially in this second lockdown, is that people are thinking, well, one sec, then the government are not even following their own rules.
Yeah.
I think that for that, I think it's made people sort of go the other way with it and just not care no more.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, isn't it? A bit confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember after lockdown 1 was lifted, I got lucky to do 4 gigs in the month of August this year. I was quite shocked, actually.
Yeah.
I flew down to Bulgaria to do a gig there. I was so shocked, and I was a little bit anxious getting a flight, you know, because of the COVID, and a bit frightened. But you know, equally, I'm a working artist.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's how I earn my living.
Yeah, no, we do need to work, and I think we need to, hopefully there's going to be less lockdowns and more sort of, I think what they need to start doing is they need to start allowing people to make their own mind up. And I think there was someone talking to me the other day, they took someone's taken a test of Parliament, apparently. They've shown Parliament that it's an instant test, so it shows if you're positive or negative instantly. And what they're saying, so if they do an event and they test everyone coming through the door, why can't they do it? Because everyone that comes in will be negative, and then there's no chance of anyone spreading anything because it's negative. So I don't know whether that's going to come in to effect in the.
Well, I've heard something of the sort, Daniel, and I have to say, as a performer myself who wants to go out and perform and have people come out and you know, go to venues, whether it's going to watch football or going to watch a gig or theater, to have that kind of thing in place is so exciting. It's so exciting, you know, and it means we can get back to our normal everyday lives sooner rather than later.
Definitely. Rozalla, I was going to go on, Jay.
No, I was just going to say that the one that I read up on yesterday was that if you was to get the vaccine, that they're going to issue with like a passport to kind of say that you're allowed to go into venues and all that because you've had the vaccine.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's a little bit kind of, you know, like a bit conspiracy theory, you know, like where, you know, why are they so urgent for you to have this vaccine if, like, you know, potentially, you know, the vaccine's meant to cure us from catching any kind of COVID symptoms, etc. But why would you really need to buy in on that? You know, like, I'm feeling like they're trying to sell that with some extra kind of oomph for people to do it. You know, if you know, like, obviously I don't know if the government are really kind of been kind of scared by the conspiracies that are going around the vaccines, but and you know, like, loads. Really,
there is absolutely loads. Everyone's an expert. It's funny, you go onto Facebook, everyone's an expert. You're like, you know what? It's just everyone just guessing their own. They sort of made their own mind up, and so, and everyone should be allowed their own opinion.
Daniel, people are scared, and people are just going, I'm just going to live my life. It's my life. Yeah, you know. But equally, you've got the seed in your head where you think, if I have it, you don't want to pass it on to anyone, you know? So you're caught between a rock and a hard place.
So going on to, I suppose, better times, Rozalla, I thought it'd be good to start where you started. Like, what was, like, young Rozalla, sort of, you wasn't born here, Rozalla, or was you born in the UK?
No, I was born in Zambia, Africa. Okay. And grew up in Zimbabwe. So my mom's Zambian and my father's Zimbabwean. Okay. So I spent, we moved to Zimbabwe when I was 15, turning 16. And then I came to England. I started traveling to England late 1988 and began to live here in 1990. I came here strictly just to do music.
Yeah, that is. And was your family, like your mum and dad, into music? Did it come through the family, the music thing, or?
Well, my real father, I never knew my real father, but I believe he was a musician and a singer. So I can only imagine that's where I got it from. You know, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's in the genes, and even though, because like going back to the family that is known by the people that are alive now. There's, on my dad's side, everyone's was into music, whether they were a drummer or a rapper. In like recent times, my cousin's doing a lot of this young rapping drill stuff. So it's interesting that, like, it's in your genes, sort of thing, when you're doing music.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so strange. I mean, I laugh to myself sometimes if you know a family of parents that are doctors, their children end up becoming doctors.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. It's a natural, I suppose,
Yeah.
whatever you grow. I suppose there's people that don't always follow the grain, but
Yeah,
are
exactly.
into it.
Exactly.
And so was the music was dance music always what music was you into, Rozalla? Was it always dance music for you, or?
No, I listened to everything. I listened to ballads, to dance music, to mid-tempo stuff. And in fact, I fancied, doing easy listening music is what I wanted to actually do. But I also loved up-tempo music because, seeing people get up and dance and wave their hands in the air and have a joyful face was just wonderful, So moving fast forward, when I met Tim and Nigel, they asked me, they are the ones who wrote the album with me for Everybody's Free to Feel Good. They asked me, what do I want? And I said, I want songs that were uplifting with positive lyrics. And i.e., when you look at Everybody's Free to Feel Good, the opening line is, brothers and sisters together will make it through. And I think, that transcends to everyone on the planet. We're all brothers and sisters, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
It is, it's a lovely phrase.
Yeah.
It makes us all feel together and wanted.
And it's funny because I like when I listen to music nowadays, you don't get the sense of music. It doesn't last. Sort of like Everybody's Free was a tune that lasts, like no matter what age you are. Like my mum knows Everybody's Free, down to my children who know Everybody's Free. It's just a tune that, and I think that's a lot with the club classic. So I suppose why I love playing club classics a lot is that early 90s stuff was all it's all present, like Baby D, Let It Be Your Fantasy, still massive. Yeah. I'm a Dreamer, still massive. Show Me Love, still massive. Everybody's Free, obviously, is still massive. And so I think that music today doesn't have that same sort of, like, they bring
history stamp.
Yeah, it's sort of like, when you think of like all the latest artists, you don't hear their later stuff. It's always their newer stuff. So I don't think music lasts. And going back even to like Stevie Wonder, etc., you've got like their music has gone through generations upon generations. Like Everybody's Free's gone through generations. Did you know Everybody's Free was gonna be the success it had? Did you know that?
Gosh.
When you sung it, when you were in the studio making it, was it like, this is gonna be an absolute banger?
Not even. Had you told me 20 years ago that, Everybody's Free is going to be 30 years old next year, that it would still be the anthem that it is today, I would have thought, no ways. Yeah. And, I can't begin to tell you, Daniel, how grateful I am. And I think apart from the song being so good, and the lyrics being so positive, what's kept the profile of that song raised as well is, I've got other people singing it. You have all these X Factor contestants or The Voice, doing Everybody's Free. Kylie Minogue covered it for her Christmas album a couple of years ago. Boots used it for their advert. And Boots used it for their advert, even though it wasn't me singing it. People soon recognize, oh, that's a song by Rozalla. A few weeks ago, when Strictly Come Dancing began, and it came back on air for the first time, the opening song that was sung by the Strictly Come Dancing band was Everybody's Free to Feel Good. And the next day, my husband was reading the Times newspaper, and there was an article about how wonderful it was to have Strictly Come Dancing back in these COVID times. And they opened up with a rendition of Rozalla's Everybody's Free. So my name got a mention. So, it's great.
I think Rozalla was, sorry, Dan. With Rozalla, so that obviously, because we want with the interview, we want to kind of give it a little bit of spice, real spice, like what people would want to ask her. Now, obviously, I'm a bit cheeky, and I do apologize.
Go for it.
Is there a version that you hear and you just think, and it hasn't been sung by you, or it's been remixed by somebody that really hasn't got the permission? And is there a point where you think, oh, what have they done?
Absolutely. Oh gosh, absolutely. I do, but as an artist, I think to myself, you know what? Everyone is trying, and whoever mixed that mix, whether it was not up to scratch or whatever, when they were mixing it, it was obviously sounding good to them, that they were proud enough to release it. So for that in itself, you got to give them a pat on the back, and, everyone's trying.
And you know what?
What more can I say?
Yeah, that's a really good outlook, because you know a lot of artists, like you see some artists, and anyone that takes their tune or uses anything to their tune, they get upset. And I remember seeing an interview with Stevie Wonder, and they asked him how he felt about people sampling his music and making remakes of it. He said, "Oh, it's just a bit of fun." And I was like, you know what? So, and when you make a tune like Everybody Free, it's never gonna, like, no matter who does it, it's never gonna be better than the original that was made. So I think that's a good outlook to have.
Absolutely.
Because,
and it's I feel honored that it's my track that they wanted to use. So whether they came out great or not, I feel honored that, they thought of me and they thought of the track. So
I don't think, I think for my DJing, Rozalla, has always been, I suppose I've always liked to please, like how you wanted to be uplifting. I suppose that's what I am. When I DJ, I want to be uplifting. So I play a lot of dance music, and it's always, I'm always been the early 90s stuff. I love the early 90s stuff. And so, but I've never played a different version of Everybody's Free than the one that you made.
You stuck to the original. Most people do. Most people have stuck to the original.
Because sometimes you can make a remix of a tune, and you hear the remix of it, that's really good. But I think I don't think I've ever heard a better version of Everybody's Free than the original. And I think that is also why, and it's the same with Stevie Wonder. I've never heard a Stevie Wonder cover done better than Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, I think it's always the case.
Yeah, so it's always, I think you never got to be, even when Kylie Minogue done it, it wasn't better than the original. So and she's a big artist. She's an A-lister, I suppose is what you'd call. But it wasn't as good as the original track. So I really think that's also, it's a really good outlook to have.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I feel, like I said, I feel honored, and we all human beings, rock in this world to try and make a name, to put food on the table, however, way you want to look at it. You're a DJ, Daniel, and your job is to put on good music, because you want to see people coming on to that dance floor and having a smile on their face, and that's coming from you and the choice of music you choosing. So you have an important part to play.
Yeah. And I was telling Jamie the other day, I remember when you supported Michael Jackson. What was that like? Support like?
Wow. That was I tell anyone who will listen that will forever be the highlight of my career. One of the highlights of my career. Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic. Unbelievable.
And did you get to meet Michael Jackson, or was it?
Yeah, I got to meet him. He asked to meet me personally to take official photographs, and we got to talking. And I thanked him so much for choosing me personally, because he chose me personally, and he said, "You're most welcome." And then he asked me for a bit of advice, because he canceled two of his gigs at the last minute, and because he was having voice problems. And he said to me, "Rozalla, what do you do to rest your voice?" And I'm going, this is a king of pop asking me, how does he rest his voice?
Yeah. It must have been surreal.
It was surreal. And also one of the other things he said was, each time I'm driving into the stadium, because I would go on before him, obviously, and then he would come on stage 30 minutes after myself. So, when I was performing on stage, that's when he'd be driving into the stadium, apparently. And he said to me, I hear how the audience are screaming for you, Rozalla, and your songs, and it's really, really nice. Yeah. So that was so nice of him to say that.
Yeah. No, it is. It's it's, I suppose, something like that to happen, because it doesn't happen to everybody, and for him to choose personally, it's got to be inspiring, I suppose.
Oh gosh, absolutely. There's a joke, Daniel, that my husband makes. Whenever we're going to watch, let's say, for instance, another artist performing in concert, my husband will lean over and say, "That artist is really, really good, but they didn't support Michael Jackson, did they?"
Yeah, exactly. There's many artists that made some great tracks, but they didn't get to support Michael Jackson. But yeah,
the next thing, Rozalla, would be that, you know, kind of that, you know, you had the crowd more buzzing than actual Michael Jackson. That's something you can definitely hold on to as well.
Oh, I tell you, they were amazing. My gosh. I mean, I was just saying earlier to an interview that I did today, how many people were there in the stadium. And the smallest stadium I did was in Monza, Italy, and there were 25,000 people.
Wow, that's
and
incredible.
the rest of the stadiums was 75,000 people. And in Paris, I can't remember the name of the stadium. It was supposed to be 75,000 people, but the fans were so excited. They broke the gates down and they ended up being 100,000 fans. And they couldn't tell them to leave in case a riot or whatever. And they left them. And when I got on stage, I kid you not, because you're high up on the stage, I could see the tops of their heads, literally. Yeah. They looked like a can of sardines all squashed together and and slowly swaying from side to side, you know. I mean, it was dangerous, you know, but they were so up for it. They were well behaved, and it all went well.
You know, as a DJ, Rozalla, like, you know, for us is we get the buzz when you're playing to a crowd and, you know, you pull the tune down and you can hear the crowd singing and, you know, like you say something on the mic, you know, like a warm-up DJ would be like, Oli, 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 and, you know, everyone reacts. And to us, that's like where we get our buzz. But I can only imagine the buzz for you is that you're singing your song, the song that you created, the song, you know, that is there, and you sing it. And potentially, if I was you, I'd be like, I'm not going to sing. I'm just going to let them sing the rest of my song.
Honestly, I've had those thoughts. Believe me. I mean, there's been times where I've been so dumbstruck by the fans singing that I need to remember that I'm on stage performing for them. But sometimes I just need to stand there, point the microphone out to them, and let them sing. And wow. And it's that keeps me going. It's that keeps me encouraged, because let's face it, it's a tough industry. You know, I've had my moments where I think, wow, this is tough, you know, and how much longer can I keep doing this? But the fans, 1,000,000% of the times, bring me back in.
Yeah.
Really.
And Rozalla, so like obviously in the UK, Everybody's Free is probably the biggest track that everyone knows you for. What is that the same around the world, or is there another track that's around there? Because sometimes people have got different tracks around the world that do better than other tracks. So is Everybody Free the main one around the world, or?
Yeah, from the gist of it and from reports back, Everybody's Free to Feel Good is well, as they say, my golden ticket around the world. Yeah. And
so going into the present time, Rozalla, it's stayed dance music. It's not gone away. What's inspired you on the newer stuff now that you're making?
Well, you know, the thing is, Daniel, I want to keep evolving. You know, about 2008, 2009, I released a jazz, not strictly jazz, but a jazzy, easy listening CD. Around there, it was mostly piano based, mostly mid-tempo, and at the end of it, we even added on a jazzy a track of Everybody's Free. You know, so I've done that. As you know, I've got a new single out called "I Feel It Slipping Away," and you know, we're working on an album where this track is featuring on. Hopefully the album will be out 2021. So on this particular album, I've got, I don't know, you could say a mix of soul, a mix of disco. I Feel It Slipping Away is very disco, very Pete Waterman, PWL times. In fact, one of the guys that mixed it was Phil Harding, who was one of the producers that worked at PWL. And he actually brought this song to the attention of Gary at Energized Records, who gave it to me. And it was written by writing royalty, I say, Lamont Dozier, who used to write for all the Motown artists back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah. And with your new track, Rozalla, because there's also Magnificent, is it, that you've done?
Yeah, Magnificent. We released that this year, deep down in lockdown, actually. And you know, Daniel, the strange thing is, it did okay, not as what we wanted to, but it did okay. But there was no DJs to send it to, because no clubs were open.
Yeah, because we were doing Facebook Lives, but Facebook lock you off.
Exactly.
playing tunes. You think sort of like this, you know, all this. I was sitting there saying in the times is, without DJs, the music wouldn't be as big as it is because DJs get it and they are the ones that play it. And that's how it gets the network and gets about. So it's crazy when you think that like the DJs that are going on Facebook are just trying to, I don't know what money they could earn from Facebook doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't think many of them are earning anything, if anyone is earning anything.
I don't think so. I mean,
so the way they're locking people off is crazy, because you sort of think, well, one step, we're in a lockdown. There's not many other ways to entertain people now. So doing it via Facebook Live is probably a way to get around to your peoples and people to see it. So I thought it was frustrating. In the end, I stopped doing it because I was like, I can't, like every time I play a good tune, I'm getting turned off by Facebook, and I can't be bothered. It takes you, you're sort of on a buzz, and then they lock you off, and your buzz just dips down, and you think, what for? It was going well. So I think that was a shame, and I think that was really the reason that at the time that it was hard, because I see a lot of people were surprisingly bringing music out in the lockdown, and I thought it's quite surprising that people would seem to do it. But I suppose in the other breath that people needed entertainment for indoors. So people knew music was probably a key to people helping get through the lockdown.
That's what it was about, you know. And people were loving these Facebook DJ sessions until it was, you know, turned out, you know, and they were trying different avenues. But it was tough. I mean, it's like, you know, going back to when I did some gigs in August, I had the opportunity of doing 3 social distance gigs, which were, let me tell you, weird. I mean, it was so weird, but you know, the people were sectioned off. They weren't allowed to come to the stage and dance. They had to stay where they were. And they were only allowed, you know, to either 250 people or 450 people, which was the top end. But they were so up for it, and they had to have the music at a certain level. So there was a decimal counter next to the DJ box, which was just shocking to me. And at one stage I was told, don't let the fans sing because this COVID apparently spreads. So I'm being told things like this, and I'm going, okay, but you know what? Everybody's Free, just one of those songs that when it came on, these people did not care about staying where they were. They all ran to the dance floor, to the stage, and you got security guards running around like headless chickens, telling them in a nice way, go back to your tables, otherwise it would have been shut down. But you know, everybody just wanted to go out and wanted to dance. And I just thought to myself, Daniel, if this is a way forward for the next few months, and I'm going to have gigs, you know, this way, doing social distancing gigs, whatever, I'll take it. I need to earn a living. I need to go out, and it's my job, and it's for the DJs, and these people want to go out. Everyone's affected. And then, of course, the 10 p.m. curfew came in, and that, I think, just killed everything.
And it's funny because it just shows you how strong music is for people. I think it's like people underestimate how strong music is and how much it helps. If it just listening to a tune like Everybody's Free is uplifting. It is uplifting. So if you're in a bad mood and you listen to a tune like that, it does uplift you, and it starts to make your mood change. And so I think that music is such a big therapy that's not spoke about as well, because it is a big therapy. Like you say, people then didn't care. You know, everyone's scaredness was taken away. And just, you know what, this is a tune we've all loved for X amount of years. We've always sung it. And so I think it's been up natural for all of us, because we're not a distant sort of, like as a humans, we have always been like getting close to each other. So I've got
absolutely, Daniel, you're so right when you're saying music for people's mental state of mind. It's a therapy, 100%. And you know, us humans are meant to mix, are meant to hug. It's unhuman not to. But yes, this is a serious disease. I'm not condoning that we go out and hug one another. We follow the guidelines and we're doing that. But it's just, this is what's going on in our world right now. We're trying our best to adhere to the government rules and whatever. But you know, it's not normal, and some people who are weaker minded than others are really getting affected badly, mentally.
And I think that's the bit not spoken enough, is there's a lot of people in this time that we're not seeing how hard they are trying to do it. So,
that's right. That's right.
So yeah, I think that is something that's not spoken about enough.
Yeah, and it's frightening. It's really frightening, you know, really.
Rozalla, you mentioned obviously that, you know, you've gone for your passion, you know, with the music, and you've recorded something that you feel. So for me, I'm very similar to you. I like brass band, I like jazz, you know, I feel it obviously is not going to meet the market, and obviously we're going to be looking at to a lot of you know, up and coming artists, young like children out there that want to be producers, want to be singers. What kind of, you're saying about the mental health situation around it, because obviously we want to play the things and record the things that we love, but what I'm kind of trying to reach out at the moment is to, like, a majority of the children that we work with, or we kind of preach out to, is that they're all about kind of drill music, and that's fantastic. We don't want to take away their passion, but what I'm kind of trying to get the idea to them, and I don't know if there's a advice that you can give them, is that, you know, being a drill artist, you're not going to make a club banger. You're not gonna put yourself in the industry to kind of remain for a long time. Their kind of lifetime in the industry at the moment is very short-lived. Is there anything, like, you know, what I'm kind of getting at is, obviously you've mentioned that there's a few things that you wanted to do, and obviously the one is successful as Everybody's Free. What kind of advice could you give to the younger producers out there, the younger singers, you know, to kind of be able to deal with the resilience of maybe, you know, things not being as successful?
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you have a passion, whatever passion that might be, but in this particular case, up and coming musicians, producers, mixers, songwriters, if you feel that passion in your waters, like a burning fire, which I believe I still have, don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep throwing mud, and wherever it sticks, just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Honestly, just don't give up. Just keep trying to collaborate with other people. Make your own music back in your back room, or whatever the case, you know. Yeah.
So I think we've only got about 5 minutes left. So what I suppose, really like to concentrate now, Rozalla, is your new track. It is a banger. I was listening.
Thank you.
I was like,
he's loving it, Rozalla. He ain't stopped playing it.
I can foresee that there's going to be success with this track.
Daniel, let me stop before you go further. You can foresee with this track, I'm getting lots of good vibes. So I promise a lot of people lunch on me when it does get to.
But no,
so
it definitely.
Rozalla, you don't want to be taking him out for lunch, Rozalla.
And you come in too. You come in too.
Yeah, I'm a cheaper date, Rozalla. I promise.
Yeah, do it.
So Rozalla, did you write the song? What was the process of the song?
It was sent by Phil Harding to Gary, saying, listen to this track. It was written by Lamont Dozier. And Gary sent it to me saying, this track is a banger. It was never released. It was, I guess, written in the 60s, 70s. And I listened to the track. And when I'm given a demo, Daniel, even if the demo isn't all that great, which 9 times out of 10 they're not, I can find a skeleton in there somewhere where I think, this sounds great. I can do this. I can sing this. And everybody has got their own unique voice. And when you sing a song, it turns out different. And then, of course, as you know, being a DJ yourself, mixers can turn a song around from what it was. You know, it can go from 1 and end up at 10, sounding so different. But I could hear this song could really be something. And thank you, God, we got some amazing producers that mixed it and did their own mixes of what they felt in their hearts. Gary and I accepted them, and we're really, really happy. So really, really good vibe coming out. And it's currently moved up to number 18 in the iTunes vocal chart.
Okay, that's great. And so I suppose the next thing for you is to try and perform it live.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose hopefully that is going to be... Are you doing any live performances, Rozalla, with it, sort of without a crowd? Are you going
I've done a couple of tracks, you know, in my office like we are now, but I'm standing up and I got this ring light that's lighting up my face. So I've sung Faith in the Power of Love. I've done Everybody's Free, but they were for charities to help raise money for the NHS. And one of them was to help raise money for child bereavement. So I've done my bit, but let me tell you, it's not really ideal.
Yeah.
It's not something I want to do. And, you know, my husband would play the music and I would sing, and it's singing in a dry room. You know, it just wasn't ideal, but I did what I had to do.
Jay, have you got anything else quickly?
Yes, Rozalla, just obviously again is, you know, if would you say that there's any kind of negatives from the success that you've had over the years, and for like maybe the up and coming up for?
For me personally, what negatives can I say? The only negatives is, well, I don't even know if you can call it a negative, because it is what it is. It's a tough industry. I've had my ups and my downs, and there was a period when sometime in the mid-90s, I think, where the girl bands and the boy bands were happening, and I was just nowhere to be found. Nobody wanted to book me, you know, and I'm going from coming to doing 5 to 7 club dates per week to doing 1 or 2 club dates per every 2 months. So it was a scary time that I went through, but you know, it's an up and down cycle, just like how life is, I suppose. You just got to hold on to that rope and not let go.
Rozalla, it's been absolutely pleasure to have
Thank you,
have a chat with you.
This is great. Thank you, Jamie.
No, thank you, Rozalla.
I can't wait to see you.
Dan. Sorry, Dan. Rozalla, do you want to give everyone your social media platforms where people can find you?
Yes. They can find me on Twitter as Rozalla B. They can find me on Instagram as Rozalla B, and they can find me on Facebook as Rozalla Miller. Just put Rozalla and they see my picture. If they recognize me, that's me. Hopefully, and it's not a con artist. I don't know.
Well, Rozalla, with the yoga face workout.
yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully we can get you up the radio the next time, Rozalla.
I hope so, in person.
Yeah, maybe you singing it for us.
You bet. I'll be here for you guys. Don't you worry.
No worries. Thank you very much, Rozalla. Great chatting to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Daniel.
Take care,
Rozalla.
Take
Christmas.
care.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. My next track coming up is my new song, and it's called I Feel It Slipping Away.